to the channel where the dough don't rise. Broken bakers here with the sarcastic eyes. From Danish pastries to courtroom crime, where the spelling's a mess, but the humor's prime. Pro se defendants taking the stand, with wine moms laughing, glass in hand. Mods like Marissa and Valhalla too. Irish and whiskey keep the chat in view. It's trial tribulations with a sprinkle of wit. Chats popping off, yeah, they never quit. Jamie's got the deals and the beauty hacks. Dollar store glam keeping us on track. So come for the crime, stay for the snark. Broken bakers baking up a legal spark. Mo hops in with spicy takes. Jemima's got the docks, Farrell brings the shakes. Brandon keeps it wild, Iron Rabbit keeps it chill. Together they're the dream team, streaming the thrill. With courtroom chaos and dry witty flair, we're roasting defendants, cause life's not fair. Grab your wine, your snacks, and settle in. Chat's the real star, let the fun begin. It's trials, tribulations with a sprinkle of wit. Chats popping off, yeah, they never quit. Jamie's got the deals and the beauty hacks. Dollar store glam keeping us on track. So come for the crime, stay for the snark. Broken bakers baking up a legal spark. Broken Baker streaming, so don't you miss, where courtrooms and sarcasm meet Danish bliss. Mods and chat, we're keeping it clever. True crime and dry humor now and forever.
Hey everyone, welcome back to kind of a dull afternoon, because well, hopefully the afternoon will be better than the morning, because the morning was dull. That was what I was about to say. We looked at a lot of photographs. We saw some cell bride. Saw some blood on the carpet. That was about that. We'll be listening while driving. Well, stay safe. No, nothing. We saw that they were called back to the crime scene and was shown that under the carpet next to the bed, when they pulled it up to renovate the apartment, they found blood that they missed during the first search of the apartment. We saw his parents' house had been searched. On his in his room, they found a glasses case with her SIM card in it. Sticky notes on the wall, where it kind of seemed like he was trying to build an excuse timeline, that he didn't talk to her after the 22nd, which is 4 days before it happened. On the 26th, she ran away from home to go to Canada or something. She had done that a lot of times, and that she had a restraining order against an ex. And then there was some more notes about her mom was an alcoholic or something. Looked more like someone was trying to build an alibi, I would say. So it just took a very long time and was hard to figure out, and this guy hates the microphone, so it was hard to figure out what, if any, evidence was put in other than a lot of pictures. Hey Kiki, who are you calling wine mom? I didn't. It's Marissa who made the song. I would never. Oh, but Vase, Melissa, you missed absolutely nothing. Yeah, get this witness on cross and get out of here. Hey Haley. But it's just, this is the first case of the year, and it's just, where is the pew pew fireworks? We had a sequestered jury. They had to go to another county to get it. It's just not, nothing really happens. And I don't know I know we shouldn't expect fireworks from anything, but if it was like yesterday, even though it was just putting in evidence, it moved along. But today it's been look at this pile of 75 pictures. Now let's look at two of those pictures on the screen. What's that? What's that? Now look at this pile of 45 pictures. So move it along. I know they have to make a timeline, they have to provide the evidence and all of that. But it's again, you can move it along faster because she doesn't need every time she goes down to get something, she is shuffling around trying to find it and spends a couple of minutes every time. Her second chair should be having that stack of photographs. So instead of going down and trying to shuffle through her own papers, she should just go down. These are the next 45 pictures she has to look at. Just move it along because we are the jury and we are bored. Imagine sitting in, it's probably not the best chairs they're sitting in. Maybe some of them have back pains like I have, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, this is taking forever. Can we, could I just, why am I here? They don't get it because they're just sitting there and thinking, why am I looking at a picture of toilet paper? What, if any, evidence is this? Well, she still have to lay foundation in case he is appealing. And again, opening statements where he said he did it isn't evidence. So it could change. They could come and say, well, by the way, he's insane. But I know you have to be methodically in your presentation, but it's just there's a fine line about boring people to tears and then putting in a lot of evidence. Confirmation hearing is destroying your mind. I saw 2 seconds of it. It's like every other confirmation hearing. The other side thinks it's the worst candidate in history. And it doesn't matter if it's Pete Buttigieg, Pete Hexet, or Doink the Clown. Everyone will always sit there and say, you are deeply unqualified. And your own side will say, you are deeply qualified. It's just showmanship. Hey, Plant Fan. Yes, Show Live is back. I had more fun yesterday when I was trying to figure out how to drive 1,500 miles in 4 days. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying if I was this prosecutor, I would be done by tomorrow, Thursday at the most, because we have all the stuff. We have her phone at his address. We have the Chevy app at his address. We have him saying, I don't know anything. We have all the blood at her place. Get the DNA people in here. Tell us about the DNA. Get the ME in here. Talk about how vicious the attack was. And then have him try and testify and say, well, it was an accident. Give the jury the gore. The gore will work. Us jurors, we are emotional beasts, especially if you haven't done jury duty before, and all of a sudden you're sitting here listening to someone being stabulated so hard it went all the way through. Do you think you will believe, well, she was angry at a Tinder message? Or would you think he must have gone cray-cray? I'm just saying. I would dwell on some other things. Back G. Well, back at you, G. Bogey. Yeah, hopefully something. Yeah, but that's why they're politicians, because you can't be a politician without being a hypocrite. That's why the last thing my dad talked to me about, well, not the last thing, when I picked him up outside of the house, we were talking about something politics, and he said, "You politicians are always lying." I said, "Yeah, we are." Hello. You don't need to go back. Absolutely stay away from the morning. It was long, it was tedious. The only thing you need is his SIM card was found, her SIM card was found in her parents' house in Nashville. There was what looked like an attempt to build a timeline to say I didn't see her for a long time and she probably ran away to Canada. And they found more blood at the house later. That's what those 2 hours and 45 minutes was spent on. Oh, you're so nice, Nightbot. Oh, Plant Fan isn't having a good day. But at least you stay away from the devil's letters. Not bringing up the politics. I don't understand enough about it. Bring the Emmy, give the jury the shock factor and as to what he did, then wrap it up. Yeah, you need the DNA in there. You need the fingerprint on the back. You don't need 45 other things. At least if you want to bring in some text messages, make them juicy. Are we on for dinner tonight? That was the one she chose to read out loud. What, if any, significance does that have? We know they knew each other. But good thing is they are late as always. No, I didn't do that. But yeah, I don't know. Again, have they proven he did it with intent? No, we haven't really heard anything about their relationship or anything, why they should believe it. Do I think that they will get the intent? I think so with the 60 stipulations, because again, it ain't about the law, it's about emotions, because it's about what the jury feels when they see pictures. And maybe some lawyers should learn a little bit about how people works. Still not back. No, don't waste your time. That isn't the heat of the moment. No, and again, one, maybe two, you could see, well, she was angry, and I just tried, kind of like the Nicholas Mew thing. I was trying to defend myself. But 60, this is actually, yeah, you can kind of mirror this over to the Nicholas Mew. What got him convicted? He was the only one with a stabulator, and he didn't talk to the police after. That's what got Nicholas Mew convicted. Exactly the same thing we have here. I think there was more reason for him to have a stabulator and hurt people on that river than they have proven in this case. If they can show a video of her with a smashed up wine bottle yelling for the culture, I might swing my vote. But so far, I have a hard time seeing them explaining their way out of it. Yeah, that shows a lot of anger. Uh, I'm pretty sure it's not golf, this one. They just have to prove premeditation. Yes, and again, premeditation can be because the he had enough time that he should have stopped. So yeah. They had a phone call that was over an hour. That's new love. I remember the hours I spent on the phone when I first met my husband, but he didn't unalive me. No, hopefully not, because then I would be a psychic who could communicate to the people on the other side. And that would scare me because I say stupid stuff when I'm alone. Maybe they're listening. But it was also before it happened, and no, it was the day she allegedly went to him. I miss that. That's a thing I would want to see, because if I remember correctly, on her last day, these are the two times we have. 11:50 11:56 is where she has that 1 hour and 3 minute phone call with him. But she didn't leave her house until 11 p.m. at night. Why did she leave her house? Did they plan it at noon that she should be coming over at night? That's the thing I'm wondering. What happened in that period? I hate to break it to you, but I think Tiger Woods is 50-50. No, most of the times when I'm on screen as well. Are you alone now, Baker? Only have the voices in my head. I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. They understand. Talk to me. Randy Orton, don't like him. I can't imagine him taking the stand, but he kind of has with this new version. Yeah, this will be the breaking point in the story, and we always see it because it's not a self-defense claim, but it kind of is anyway. Because he said she came at him with a broken bottle, and there's no broken bottle provided so far. There's no history of her being excessively violent, but we still haven't heard the defense. It can change. But if they can't bring that in, then he must take the stand to put the jury into the house. But we see it again and again and again. They don't do it, and the jury don't buy it. No evidence brought in so far. This is getting weird. You're getting weird. Yeah, we don't have any timeline for what he was doing, but he was a student, and I don't know if he had worked next to it, so we don't know. That's to be put in. So she force fed him alcohol and weed on broken bottle point. Poor guy. Yes, this is this is our story, and we will go with it. But it's just, again, have a hard time seeing them get through this. Especially, they will need him testifying. Is what I'm thinking. Or else, how can you make them believe that she wasn't that big? was that big of a danger that he had to stipulate his 60 times. The 60 times is what I keep coming back to. If I was a jury, that would be, especially because I know they're going to show the pictures with the ME. Uh, that would fill a lot in my head if that was what's going on. 60 times, it's just a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Yeah, and then you're thinking, but what made him snap? Because if they had that 1 hour phone call, they were in love. It was new love. I just start thinking about what's the human story here. Why did he snap, and why did he snap this much? It's not like it's not like we know they're about to break up or something like that. To me, that seems kind of weird. Well, people who does stuff like that, as I said yesterday, when I had a red rum case, it was the same thing. Absolutely chill as a cucumber. And yes, we all agree they said they would be back at 1, right? It's 15 minutes late now. Yeah, could be. And again, it's just that's the thing you always have to wonder about, because most of us are pretty normal people, and we would sit here with a pretty normal mindset and say, how can you do that? How can you do something that bad, clean up the apartment, move her body, and then pretend nothing ever happened? There's no evidence of any mental health problems. So I don't I don't know. It's no, he has no psychopathy, no narcissism. I know everyone always loved to say in every defendant case, well, he has clear signs of narcissism. He's tested, no signs of anything. Narcissism is a thing that you can find if you are being examined by a shrink. Every trial, if I go around look in the chats, there's always someone claiming people are narcissistic. Most of the time, they're not. Most of the time, they are just bad eggs. Because, yeah, they're effed up in the head, and that's the problem. Not psycho, not narcissistic, not insane, just bad eggs. This one, he's been checked, no problems. His hack forensic psychiatrist yesterday tried to claim he had some childhood trauma, but he couldn't prove it. It was self-reported. He claimed he was under the influence. No evidence whatsoever of that. Again, self-reported. Can't use that for anything in a trial, because you can't come and say, well, he was drunk. How do you know? He told me so. That's not evidence. So yeah. Bum, 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 bum. No, because the judge wouldn't allow him in. Oh, finally, judge is back in court and we can go again. finally we can get back to the boring photos, and I just can't wait to see. Count the photos. Can you do it any slower, please? And I'm bored here tonight, and I'm bored now more than ever. And I have to do court in the morning, so we won't be going too late. I really should be a singer instead. Probably absolutely no reason to do that. Again, there's no red flags raised anywhere, and he's not from this area. He's from Nashville, but still, sometimes you don't have to look and think. Sometimes people just snap and do stupid stuff. Doesn't mean that they have a long history of unaliving people. And again, he's 22 years old. If you want to go back 5 years, he was 17 at the time. Probably not the most killing being done. I think serial unalivers are normally beginning in the mid to late 20s. Well, at least did we choose the same song? We don't know. According to the opening statements, they had started out some Tindering, and then but we don't know how much of a relationship they had. No, you're not going to kiss her in court. Don't kiss her in court. No PDA. Well, I'm pretty sure that they have checked if there's any missing persons that would fit the ME. It's a 2-year-old trial. They have time to go over the missing persons. Well, you got your money's worth. They had known each other, according to the defense, for some time, and it was a growing Tinder relationship. But her mom didn't even know him. So, but moms will always do that in court, claim they were close. So, no evidence so far. No evidence of how the relationship was, how long it had been. And I need you now, tonight, and I need you more than ever. Totally clips on my heart. La 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 la.
All right, so where we wrapped up before lunch was, you can still see the picture behind you, the second entrance into Mr. Chen's apartment, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so after this part of your investigation, what happened? So you testified that we located her body. And you went back in the apartment at the time. Do you recall when this was again? You told me very.
Approximately January 5th.
So after major portions of an investigation have been completed, what from that point forward are you doing as a homicide investigator?
First and foremost, trying to potentially discover more evidence in the case, such as executing search warrants on other pieces of evidence, trying to contact TBI in terms of processing further evidence in the case. Also, even though I was assigned this investigation, my duties as a homicide detective don't stop there with this investigation. So during the meantime, I'll also be assigned more investigations to include further homicides that come up in the coming months.
You've been looking for video evidence?
Yes, I was.
Looking for evidence that pertains to Mr. Chen's involvement with Jasmine Pace. Okay. Can you explain to the jury what the Real-Time Intelligence Center is?
Yes, the Real-Time Intelligence Center is a essentially it's a unit within the Chattanooga Police Department. In the city of Chattanooga, we have city owned and operated cameras that are also monitored by the Chattanooga Police Department that are placed through strategic locations throughout the Chattanooga area. Those cameras work in many different functions. Some cameras are fixed cameras. Most of our fixed cameras that we have will have essentially 4 cameras at that location that will look in 4 different directions to potentially try to cover that specific area with a 360-degree angle. Some of the cameras that were in place are pan-tilt zoom cameras, and based on time rotation, that camera will pan out a view of the intersection. It will then zoom in for approximately 15 seconds before zooming back out, and it will complete that cycle until it's done 360 degrees. So sometimes we have cameras that are stationary, look at one angle the entire time. And sometimes we have a camera angle that shows part of something. Normally when something gets good, it turns to another angle. But those cameras are, like I said, owned and operated by the city of Chattanooga. They're maintained by the Chattanooga Police Department. And the Chattanooga Police Department monitors those cameras. Also, with those cameras, they're given access to other officers to potentially monitor, deter crime, and see potential traffic congestion and those things as well.
When you say that employees of the police department are monitoring Arctic, is it called Arctic?
Arctic is the abbreviation for real-time intelligence.
That's what it's called within the community, is Arctic cameras.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say it's being monitored, are they being monitored in real time?
Yes, that gives the name. We have, depending on what time of day it is, we have Arctic investigators. Then we have a place inside the police station that has multiple TVs and camera angles that they will look at specific calls that come in. If a call comes out in a specific area, violence or a burglary of some sort, they tend to access these cameras to get suspect information. And a lot of times when there's stuff that's not going on, there's one of those cameras to make sure that no potential crime or something suspicious is going on. But there's active investigators that are looking at those cameras. Typically, it's only filled by 1 to 2 active investigators at a time that are monitoring those cameras. And you can determine that the size of the city of Chattanooga, obviously, we can't get every camera placed throughout the city. But other investigators within the department also have access to those cameras as well.
So are you able to
Maybe appeal things. Someone smarter than me who went to school should have, if it has anything to do it. But again, he never said he did it. He pled not guilty. His lawyer said it during opening statements. Opening statements aren't evidence. Yada yada. I have to preference all of that spiel with that. But yes, as I said yesterday, focus on intent.
ask individuals that work in the Arctic Center to go back and look for video footage that they may have not seen anything nefarious at the time, but as an investigator, you can ask them to go back and pull up video for you.
Correct. We have, depending on the cameras and servers, when they're replaced, anywhere from a few days of video footage to up to a month of video footage can be stored in the time on the cameras before they potentially go forward.
Do you know approximately how many Arctic cameras there are in Chattanooga?
It's ever expanding. I don't know the exact number. I would guesstimate over 100.
Would you describe them as helpful in solving crimes in Chattanooga?
Yes, video footage is extremely helpful. Obviously, if you can see it, it takes out the middleman in terms of getting access to that video. Because sometimes when we do these neighborhood canvases, we're trying to locate witnesses or video footage. You have to make contact with that business owner or that homeowner, and then not only once you make contact, you're seeking permission to then have access to that video footage to potentially see if it captures anything. But in terms of the real-time intelligence center cameras, we have direct access to those cameras at all times. So we're able to review those cameras. Sometimes maybe we get enough video footage so we can go back and we can monitor that as many times or review it as many times as we want.
In the course of your investigation, did you?
I think sometimes they can dig down and say, I'm going to do this, and how to say it? I don't think all lawyers, because lawyers like to read books. Lawyers like to know the law. And I think a lot of them have gotten, this is how you do it. This is how we do it on a Friday night. So if they are set up to do this type of case, and 95% of it goes away because, well, he admitted to do it. They will still do that case because they have trained, they have rehearsed. I don't think all lawyers are really sharp on their feet, especially prosecutors. I think we've seen it more in prosecutors. They have an inability to think fast, think on their feet. Probably that's why most good YouTube lawyers are former defense lawyers or current defense lawyers, even though EDB is a prosecutor, because you have to be sometimes snappy on your thinking knocking, because sometimes court starts 25 minutes late and you have to talk for the 35 minutes.
You learn that there was an Arctic camera close to 110 Tremont Street?
Yes, I did.
How did that information come to you?
I'm very
Lally is the perfect example. Do you have any kids? Yes, I have two, a boy and a girl. They're 2 and 3 years old. What gender are they? They are a boy and a girl. How old are they? They're 2 and 3 years old. He couldn't go on with a question if he didn't ask every question he had on his list.
very familiar with the art cameras within the homicide unit.
They have to prove intent. They have to prove intent because it's a first degree. But the problem is right now we are not nowhere near intent. We're just now we're getting an introduction to how you use a camera to take pictures. I think it's 3D photos. I can't hear this mumbling guy. I don't know what he's talking about, but I think it's something about 3D cameras. What that has to do with intent, I don't know.
Somebody goes rock on when it comes to certain types
On the
of
west
cases.
side.
One of those being the ability to review camera footage. So I was familiar with the camera being placed at the intersection of Tremont Street and Fraser Avenue. It's actually
No, it's a
most of
camera
our cameras,
on a
basically
street.
all, because the power strips they need are mounted on electric poles placed there by EPB. So it's direct source by the city-owned power. We have somewhere where they can mount it to, so the city has full permission to place those cameras there, place in public areas, and
Hey,
so there's the
Brandy,
one
how are
approximately
you
less than a block south
doing?
of where Ms. Pace was last seen.
You should be so sad
Were
you
you
didn't
able
cover this
to
case.
request to see the video footage from that Arctic
Hope you're doing
camera
fine.
from the days of November 22nd, 2022 and November 23rd, 2022?
I don't have to request that video footage. I actually have direct access to all the Arctic cameras. So I pulled the cameras up myself since I have direct access, and I've used them on my laptop.
Were you able to retrieve video from that Arctic camera from November 22nd, 2022 and November 23rd, 2022?
Yes, that's correct.
To orient the jury, Investigator Crawford. Okay. The jury has seen this several times. You recognize this area, Investigator Crawford?
Yes, we just saw the front of 110 Tremont Street. You're going to see Tremont Street as it bleeds down into an area of Coolidge Park. And you have Fraser Avenue, which goes from left to right or east to west.
Couldn't they just do
What is
this with
that?
Google Street View?
That is going to be one of our Arctic cameras. Typically
Isn't it
for
Google
block
Street View?
files, storage, communication.
Oh, now I know what it is. It's traffic cameras to show when he drove. Thank you. Now I got it.
You can see the dome style bubble at the bottom, and that's actually going to be our physical camera there. And this specific camera actually picks up, has still video, where it actually monitors different areas, such as the streets.
And is this the Arctic camera that you were able to pull footage from around the time of November 2022?
Yes, that's correct.
And did you review that video?
I did.
It should be. A 22-year-old woman is found in a suitcase, hands and legs cuffed together, 60 stabulations in her body. They go to her family breaks into her boyfriend's apartment, and find her things there, because the police, well, he had a day off and he was spending time with his kids, so he couldn't really go look at it. They break in, they leave stuff so it's easy for the police to find, go back and break into the apartment again, I think she said. Then the police gets involved. They talk to Jason. He's at his mom's house where he has post-it notes with a timeline to try and say, well, I haven't talked to her since the 22nd and she disappeared on the 26th. Really weird. All of this could be a really, really good case. But we've just spent an entire morning. Can you look at these 75 photos? Look at these 2 photos I now show you. What is that? They claim first degree, he claims involuntary, he blacked out, she got mad, he got Tinder messages while they were together, so she came at him with a broken wine bottle. No broken wine bottle have been found. The case has everything that says this is going to be a banger. Then they had a lead investigator who if you go to Walmart and say, should I have Dayquil, NyQuil, Ambien, extra strong no, I'll have the lead investigator, and you will be in a coma. Exactly.
It's on the list of Fraser Avenue, 1122. Fraser, 1122. Stick this jump drive in this computer.
Oh, finally he could wake up. Brandy's here, so now he's all hot and buttered.
Show the USB was entered.
Yes.
It's a whole lot of this.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
Is it footage from that Arctic camera from 11/22/2022?
Yes, that's right.
Is accurate depiction of the footage from that day as you saw it in 2022 or 2023?
Yes.
Your Honor, asked that the 11/22/22 Arctic footage be admitted into
I
evidence.
want to break free.
This folder says Arctic 11/23.
Hey, Amica fan, how are you doing this fine, fine morning down under? No, are you down under? I think you're down under. Maybe you're down under. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just talking out my behind. Because I'm a little bit bored.
This also footage from the Arctic camera that the jury can see on the screen behind me.
Yes, that's
Let
right.
us see him.
From 11/23/2022 to 11/23/2022, from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m.
And that's noted on the video, correct?
Yes, that's
Was
right.
also noted on the 11/22/22 video.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, asked this condition with evidence to take next to it. All right. Before we get to video footage, Investigator Crawford, I'd like to talk about the location of several spots we've talked about throughout this trial. 110 Tremont, you can see a little sliver of it on the screen behind us, correct?
Correct.
How far away from 110 Tremont is the Walgreens at which Jason made purchases on 11/23/2022?
Oh, sorry, Valhalla, I yelled at you.
And then from Jason's apartment to the Walmart where Jason made purchases on 11/23/2022. How far apartment to Walmart?
Less than 10 minutes.
How far from Jason Chen's apartment to Mountain Creek Road where Jasmine Pace's vehicle was located?
Approximately 15, 16 minutes.
How far from the Walmart to Mountain Creek Road where Jasmine's vehicle was located?
15 minutes.
How far from Jason's apartment was Jasmine Pace's body located on Sub Creek Road?
Approximately 14 to 15 minutes.
How far is the Walmart from where Jasmine Pace's body was located?
Just a few minutes, 4 or 5.
So it'd be fair to say that we're talking about a pretty small area of activity that we've spoken about throughout this trial.
That's correct.
Well, I think she want to get to. He went to the Walmart, dumped the body, went back home, and cleaned the apartment. I'm not sure.
All right.
Have a great day, Brandy. Thank you for stopping by.
We switch to prosecution laptop, Your Honor. I'll ask Investigator Crawford if he'll turn around. Before you start playing.
Turn around every now and then.
Investigator
I
Crawford.
get a little bit alone.
This is video footage from that arcade camera, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Similar to what you just saw there on
Turn
the laptop.
around.
Yes.
And you can see on the bottom there, does it
La,
have
la,
a
la,
date?
la, la, la.
Can you jump on? Yeah. Just show a second ago. There we go. Is that date accurate?
Yes, it is.
Would that time be accurate?
That's correct.
So 11:42 p.m.
Yes, that's correct.
Note that we are going to begin to play it, Your Honor, around 11:42:41. What type of vehicle did that look like to you?
A Chevrolet Traverse.
And did it look like Jasmine's vehicle?
Yes.
Are you sure it was a Traverse?
Yes.
Are you sure it was a Chevrolet? A white Chevrolet?
Yeah.
Okay. And when that vehicle pulled in next to the apartment building, what pull-in would that have been in comparison to Jason Chen's apartment?
This point here is going to be the parking lot area that's just south. So the picture we kept looking at, the street view of 110 Tremont Street, it actually meets the right. To signify there's these signs here that are permanent. You can also see the trees over here. Essentially, there's a polling location. It's kind of darker discovered here. That's the driveway to the southern parking lot.
You are familiar with the My Chevy app that the Pace family was able to view to show where Jasmine's car was?
Yes, ma'am.
Does the time on this video match the time on the My Chevy app that would have shown her arriving at 110 Tremont on 11/22/22?
Yes, it's consistent with her traveling.
Now let's move on to 11/23/2022. All right, can you pause it, General Moyle? What are we looking at here, Investigator Crawford?
This is a camera within the Walmart, specifically the 500 Sigma Mountain Road Walmart that was used earlier.
Do you recall when this surveillance footage was taken?
Yes, the date from which this was taken was from November 23rd, 2022.
You can play it, General Moyle. There's going to be another video from Walmart.
Notice the hat. It's the Hennessy Care About It or whatever it said. It's the same hat they found in his apartment.
The same day, same event, just when Mr. Chen was checking out.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't think there was enough Band-Aid in that package to fix her.
Do those towels look like anything you've seen before?
Yes, they're consistent with the hand towels that we located in the top right-hand corner cabinet closet area of Jason Chen's apartment.
What color are Mr. Chen's shoes?
They're white.
Does that appear to be the same hat that Mr. Chen had on when you met him in Nolensville?
Yes, that is correct.
And do you recall the time of day that this video was captured?
Yes, he was in the Walmart area between 10:46 a.m. and 11:30 a.m.
And did it correlate, this video correlate with the receipts that was previously entered as an exhibit in this case?
Yes, that is correct.
Can you please continue to look? Does that phone look familiar?
Yes, it's the same clear phone case with the same sticker on the back that's familiar to Boston College, along with the debit card that's consistent with what we located inside of his wallet in Owensville. And
You can go back. All to the.
Move it, move it, move it, right.
Did you see a time come up on Mr. Chen's phone that you can that December 9th day is the date that this video was retrieved, correct?
correct.
Did you see a time on Mr. Chen's phone?
There is a time associated.
And here, in this photo, you can see Mr. Chen's wrist in this photo, correct?
Correct.
And does he have a bracelet on?
He does.
Does it match the bracelet that he had on in his matcha photo that he sent to Jasmine Pace?
It is not.
But that picture was, those texts were from the same day as this video, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh, that's why we saw the matcha. Because he sent it on the day after. I didn't catch that at the time because I was so bored. That's why they talked about them being changed, because he sent that photo to her and then she responded. They claim he used her phone to create an alibi. This is why you watch on this channel. The big brains on Baker really shines through sometimes. I'm so smart.
Move on to Walgreens. So this video, there are two sets of videos were collected from Walgreens. Is that correct?
Yeah, go full screen.
Was one earlier in the day
Yes, it was.
and was one later in the day?
Yes, it was.
Is this video footage from earlier in the day or later in the day?
It's going to be the earlier video footage around 1:39 p.m.
Based on your knowledge, the date and time are correct on those videos as Walgreens testified?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, he texted her mom on the 23rd saying, I'm leaving for Thanksgiving with my girlfriend, Emma, I think it was. I could do that. As long as they will pay me to come. Could I be called as a witness? Because again, flying to Tennessee is expensive.
Got to see somebody walk in the door? Your Honor, we can't fast forward through these videos, so we're just going to wait just a few minutes.
Well, I can fast forward. Bum, 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 bum. This is around 1:40 p.m. I think the mom's text wasn't that around 2? I'm not 100% sure. I think so. Oh, that's going to be a fight. Bum. This is riveting.
See the individual on the top right video. You guys see the photo?
Yes, I did.
Have you seen that hat before?
Yes, I have.
Does the cashier has antlers on his cap? He did. He went to Walmart and Walgreens.
Did this transaction correlate with one of the receipts that we've already seen?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, briefly before we go to the next video. Based on your previous interactions with Mr. Chen, and then reviewing these videos, were you able to identify the person in those videos?
Yes,
Who is that person?
Jason Chen.
Do you see Jason Chen in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you please point him out and describe what he's wearing for the jury?
He's directly across from me with a dark suit, bluish tie, glasses.
In between two lawyers?
That's correct.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that Mr. Chen has been identified.
So it
Okay, so then we're going to go back to real-time intelligence center video, Arctic camera footage. And the investigator proper we are going chronologically. Can you pause this, General Moore? Okay, so again, correct date on the bottom?
Yes, that is correct.
Is the time correct on the bottom?
We
Yes,
can't
they're
see
not
it because of the
they're synced in.
banner
Would
from
that
the
be
TV station.
5:59 PM?
That's correct.
We can't buy that in Denmark. I always saw it in German commercials, but never tried it.
Mr. Chen's apartment right there to the right.
Yes, this structure you can see just at the edge of this building is going to be his apartment complex. Just between here is the front stairwell and obviously the brush and this is the parking area over here.
Do you have the asparagus as well? Well, now we know there's a stabulation occurring soon in your house.
Let's get a proper, does that appear to be a person with a suitcase?
Yes, and the area that came from is the front stairs that lead to the front door. Here you see, this appears to be
Oh, he is with the
a
suitcase.
tall suitcase, light colored top, dark pants, light colored shoes. And once again, the red washes out on this red and white hat.
What direction was that person traveling in?
From the front staircase down the sidewalk to the parking lot area on the south side of the apartment complex.
Okay, we're gonna keep watching for a second.
No, this is after he leaves the apartment and brings the suitcase out, and this is when he's probably going to drive off. Bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Well, he's not moving fast. Hey, Trial Junkies United. Yeah, please start the party because this has been a slog so far. Get the party started on day night. Come on, let's see him drive out of the parking spot. But it's a pretty town. It's very American for someone who isn't an American. It looks how we think small town America looks. With these weird small houses. That's how we envision any mainstream looks in a smaller town. Yeah, this will be the Baker singing trial. Is that his car? Nope. No. Everything has just been putting stuff into evidence, pictures of something. What has been important today is they found her SIM card in his glasses case in his backpack. They found what looked like an attempt to establish an alibi by writing down a story to tell. They found more blood in the bedroom at the apartment. Now we're watching him going out, buying cleaning supplies, dragging out a suitcase, and probably driving up to Suck Creek Road. Yeah, but it's how we envision it when we see it. That's racism.
This individual in that vehicle appeared to be wearing a hat.
Yes, it does.
Does that match the description of Jason Chen's vehicle?
It does. It's a Toyota Camry.
It's a Camry,
color,
Marissa.
and approximately same model year range as well.
Actually, one of the cars
Based on your review
I was
of this
recommended
video,
yesterday
was
was
there anybody
Camrys.
else in Mr. Chen's car?
Now, if you, to my knowledge, if you looking through the windows, you're not coming to the windows, especially when light passes through, especially being in street light and passing cars. You clearly see that no one's sitting up inside of the vehicle at that time.
All right. Chronologically, let's go back to Walgreens. Oh, let me ask you if Mr. Chen in that video was going towards Suck Creek Road, which way would he have turned out of that Tremont Street?
So based on that video, like I said, from that angle of the RD camera, it actually faces north or, up towards the screen. And Fraser Avenue goes from left to right, from west to east. Sutter Creek Road, you would need to take, he would need to take a right out or travel left down road or west. So on screen, he'd been traveling to the left-hand side of the screen to make that road.
Well, let me ask you this way, because that's actually the flipped version. Was he traveling in the correct direction to get to Suck Creek Road?
Yes, he was traveling in the direction of Sutter Creek Road.
Thank you. I should have asked like that. All right, let's go back to Walgreens. Later in the day, correct, but same day, 11:23, Investigator Crawford.
That's correct.
Is that indicated on the screens again?
Yes, it is.
Now we're in the 1900 hour.
Yes,
1903 would be 7:03.
7:30 p.m. That's correct.
Okay.
I had a Toyota. Oh, what was it? Can't remember. I have an Opel now, or Vauxhall, as you call it in Britain. I like it. It has heated seats. That's all I need. That's all I need. We need some more Walgreens.
See somebody standing in line on that bottom right screen.
Yes, that's correct.
Does that appear to be Jason Chen?
Yes,
Does he appear to be buying paper towels?
yes,
And you can see on the top left screen in the better view.
correct.
So the first Walgreens video was around what time?
So 1:39 p.m.
And this one, 7:03. So we're 5.5 hours.
Yeah, I think it was a Corolla, LX or something.
Is that correct?
LS.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Chronologically, let's go back to Arctic. Can you, Investigator Crawford, can you move to the right a little bit so that Paul can see? So what date does that video say, Investigator Crawford?
November 23rd, 2022.
Have you noticed that this video jumps, Investigator Crawford?
Yes.
Why is that?
No, this is in the evening. It supposedly happened the day before.
Ever interacted with anything computer-based, based on signal strength, especially with the cameras? The signal strength's not strong enough. Obviously, the video footage doesn't pick it great. The times
No
will
idea what
probably,
he's saying.
So it'll show, but it's not been edited. It's just poor signal strength of that camera based on the time.
8:30 p.m. Do you recognize that vehicle?
I do.
What vehicle do you recognize that to be?
victim's vehicle, Jasmine Pace.
Can you tell me anything about what the driver of that vehicle was
Nope.
wearing?
Yes, they're wearing essentially a light colored upper top, something potentially dark on it. It's almost essentially like a hood is up.
Okay.
So this is her
All
car.
right, and that vehicle was leaving Mr. Chen's apartment complex around 8:30 p.m., correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, now we are going to Mountain Creek Road video. You'll recall you heard Scott Miller testify, Investigator Crawford,
Yes, that's correct.
and you are familiar with this video as well.
I am.
Is this video from the Signal View Apartments on Mountain Creek Road?
That's correct.
Did you visit those apartments during the course of your investigation?
I did.
Okay, have you seen this video? Before?
I have.
Now, do you recall Scott Miller testifying that this time was also accurate?
Yes, I did.
Oh, we're probably going to see him get out of it now if he's driving it.
That white SUV, Investigator Crawford, was that SUV going in the direction of where Jasmine Pace's vehicle was located in the Mountain Creek apartment building?
Yes, that's right.
It was just the white SUV went by towards the
What
Mountain
were you
Creek
doing
Road.
to have this recording on? Fast forward.
Yeah, fast forward, please. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. They found it at some
Go pretty fast down that
parking
parking lot
spot.
road.
That's right.
Were you able to identify what kind of vehicle that was?
Yes, it appears to be a gray tan color of Toyota Prius.
Okay, keep watching.
A Toyota Caprice. Tan color. Mhm. It's not because anything is happening. It's very, very boring. Why couldn't you just agree to this and cut these parts out? The jury must be sleeping in their chairs, just like everyone here.
Investigator Crawford, are there multiple entrances at the Signal View apartment complex?
Yes, there is.
Where, in comparison to where Jasmine Pace's vehicle was located, where would the other entrance have been?
Essentially, you have an entrance on this side, and then in between, well, this is the rental office, and back this direction is going to be all the apartment complexes themselves. Back this direction, to the left-hand side of the video, is going to be the rear part of the apartment complex. If you were to continue to follow around the rear of the apartment complex, and it takes you to the other side, where essentially you have the mimic entrance is this side, so you could
Encore.
either side of it.
Well, it has been a singing stream today.
Okay.
More will probably
All right,
come if we're
chronologically,
still
let's
sitting
go
here
back to
bored.
Arctic footage. 9:01 p.m., 11/23/22.
Yes, that's correct.
What type of vehicle is that?
It's a Toyota Prius.
What is it flashing? It's flashers in front of.
In front of 110 Fremont Street.
We're going to run double speed off.
Oh, that's interesting. Who is driving the Prius? Because we saw someone drive away in her car with a white hoodie on, and now we just saw someone jump out of the Prius with a white hoodie on. Who's driving the Prius? That's at least something interesting. This is riveting. Thank you, Sue, for 14 months. Yes, and if you have a word that you think could be good to put in closing bingo, please fill out this form. He must have some kind of friend, an accomplice. Yeah. As I said to Marissa yesterday when she said, you should have a Prius, I said, my T level isn't high enough to drive a Prius.
Rewind that in normal speed. Okay. Regular speed here and just get across it. What appears to be on that individual's head?
You can see what appears to be a light colored hoodie, some sort of holder cup.
Back that one moment. Nothing further from this witness, Your Honor.
Thank heavens. Everyone, get up, stretch. Could be an Uber. Yeah, could be. Hopefully they found it. Nobody knows the mic trouble they have. Nobody knows but IT. Nobody knows why it scratches a lot. Nobody knows but IT. They found her SIM card at his parents' house. They found notes that could imply he was building an alibi to get out of there, to get out of what happened. And we just saw videos where he was buying cleaning supplies, rolling a suitcase out to a parking lot, leaving in his own car, and what they alleged to be him leaving in her car. And then he returned home later without her car in a Prius, could be an Uber. I actually was stretching a lot before. My back is killing me. Well, that's good to move a bit. Why is this taking so long? They had a full day to prepare this. Now I know why some streamers do the Colombian vacation. What? Boom, 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 boom. Who, if anyone, was driving a Prius? We don't know. That would have been a follow-up question I would have had. Did you locate the guy who drove the Prius? You stop it, Sue. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Nope.
Good afternoon, Investigator Crawford. We're gonna start from the beginning. So, November 26th is when CPD first became involved in this case, correct?
Correct.
And that resulted in a phone call from the Pace family?
Correct. They called into Chattanooga Police Dispatch for within 15 minutes call.
And was that specifically related to the vehicle that we've seen?
Correct.
And, you were not involved at that point in time, but Officer Pierre was, correct?
That's right.
And from November 26th through November 27th, when did you actually become involved?
At 5:37 p.m. on the 27th, was the first time I was notified about Jasmine Pace when I was texted by Detective Joseph Seavish. Then approximately 30 minutes later, I was notified by my supervisor, Sergeant Emery, now Lieutenant Emery, notified me about the investigation, and that's when I was officially brought into the office.
So, was it your belief that Jasmine had been missing since November 23rd or the night of November 22nd?
At that point, I just had a basic understanding from what I was reporting by Sergeant Emery.
And from November 22nd through November 27th, CPD had not been to Mr. Chen's apartment, correct?
I do not believe that's been justified to you now.
When did you first go to Mr. Chen's apartment?
First went to his apartment on the evening of the 27th.
Had other officers been there prior to your arrival?
Yes,
And who were those officers?
there was a lot. Are we talking inside his apartment or out of his apartment?
Let's start. Are you aware of the first time that law enforcement went to Jason Chen's apartment after November 22nd, but prior to your arrival on the 27th?
Yes.
Who were the first officers to respond?
Officer Justice, Officer Brasted, and Officer Creighton.
And are they all three still employed with CPD?
No.
Which of those officers are not involved with CPD?
Officer Justice now works for the Tennessee.
Now no audio?
And I'm pretty positive I had that interactions a little bit with Brasted and Creighton, others, so they're employed with Chattanooga Department.
Now, when Officer Braced and Creighton and Justice, were all three of them here at the same time of the case?
They did. They responded. They weren't in the same vehicle, so they responded within a few minutes of each other.
What's happening in this case?
And when they made contact with the Pace family at Mr. Chen's home, was it your understanding that the Pace family had not been
come on
to
now.
Mr. Chen's apartment?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you have an opportunity?
I'm just trying to see if the other audio is better because this is horrendous. Nope.
Did you do an interview with the Pace family?
I did.
Maybe a little bit.
You learned that information from them, that they had other officers been there prior to your arrival?
Yes,
And who were those officers?
there was a lot. Are we inside of his apartment and around his apartment.
Let's start. Are you aware of the first time that law enforcement went to Jason Chen's apartment after November 22nd, but prior to your arrival on the 27th?
Yes.
Who were the first officers to respond?
Officer Justice, Officer Brasted, and Officer Craig.
And are they all three still employed with CPD?
Nope, it disappears.
Which of those officers are not involved with CPD?
Officer Justice now works for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And I'm pretty positive I had interactions a little bit with Brasted and Craig and others, so we've been employed with Chattanooga Department.
Now, when Officer Brasted and Craig and Justice, were all three of them there at the same time with the case?
They did. They responded. They weren't in the same vehicle, so they responded within a few minutes of each other before they made contact with the Jasmine Pace.
And when they made contact with the Pace family at Mr. Chen's home, was it your understanding that the Pace family had already been into Mr. Chen's apartment?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you have an opportunity to do an interview with the Pace family?
I did.
And you learned that information from them, that they had been in Mr. Chen's apartment, right?
Yes, that's correct.
They also say that they've been in Mr. Chen's apartment in the body cam footage that's located on Officer Creighton's and Officer Braced's body worn camera, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Have you had the opportunity to review that?
Yes.
What date was that interaction with Officer Creighton?
This is ridiculous.
Justice and the Pace family?
It was on November 27th, 2022.
And body worn camera is something that patrol officers wear, correct?
That is correct.
You as an investigator do not wear that.
No, I do not wear body worn camera.
And when officers respond to calls such as this, does that body worn camera get uploaded into one of your evidence servers?
Yes, that's correct. Every video camera that records is automatically recorded, and as soon as it's docked, it automatically uploads.
It wasn't the mics, it's the feed to the camera that was wrong, because now you can hear it's coming back. If you feel this is the saddest opening you ever saw, then you should go watch the trial with the guy who stabulated his girlfriend, the one with the gangster granny, where just before the case started, he said, "I'm sorry I did it." That opening was sad. It kind of was just, please don't give him too much time in prison.
.com. The officer has no way. Essentially, when you charge the device, it begins to upload the device.
So when Officer Pierre responds to the Mountain Creek Apartments, he had body worn camera, he's a patrol officer, correct?
That's correct.
And it would have triggered to turn on something, correct?
That's correct.
And that would have been uploaded to evidence.com or something similar.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know.
So the same is true for Officer Creighton and Officer Brady.
But she goes later, so maybe she downloads it and then audio mixes it. It could be.
And Officer Justice, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you did say you had the opportunity to review their body worn camera.
Yes, I am.
Eric, you may have to fix the laptop. Actually, I think.
No, this is War on Crime. If it had been Trial TV, it would be me here and then Trial TV next to me. Yeah, she starts 2 hours later, so maybe she has some way of running it with the delay on that she can boost. This is the most boost you can put on a live. The problem just is it's shitty audio.
The format itself, yes, it's going to be the watermarked video footage that in case that's from an actual body worn cameras, body worn cameras that are loose.
Okay, and specifically, what is the date on this? The date of time on the date on this?
Yeah, but we're crossed right now.
2022 at 0527.
Yeah, and that's what you can do if you watch it on the replay. But I cover it live, and normally Law and Crime has a 5-second delay that makes CC possible, but not on this one.
And you, at this point, do not know
You can
that
see
this
down
is
here, there's
from
no
Officer Creighton, but you
clickable
can see the
option.
video in your case file, correct?
I have reviewed his camera footage.
Yeah, right. We may have to this.
That's because I speeded up. We're a little behind. Is that body worn camera now? Interesting.
Your Honor, is this video being recorded? Oh, yes, Your Honor, I would like to have this marked as the next exhibit, which I believe is 129. That's 130.
Is that a jump drive?
It is going to be.
Okay, you're gonna look all
So no, yes.
no objection.
Investigator Crawford, behind you on the screen, is this what I just showed you on the laptop?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and it's marked at the top of November 27th, 2022, timestamp of 5/27/59, correct?
That's correct.
Lenny? Investigator Crawford, I'm just pausing for 1 moment. Did you notice the door at the front?
The one on the left-hand side of the video?
Yes.
Yes,
And what was the number on that?
210.
And that's your understanding that's Mr. Chen's apartment, correct?
That is correct.
Do you recognize the individual that's here in the video?
That is Katrina Bean on the right-hand side.
And that would be Jasmine's mother, correct?
That is correct.
I'm just gonna make sure that, obviously there is no harm here.
On that right food.
Investigator Crawford, they've done a walkthrough. I believe you described it earlier as a shotgun layout of an apartment. So they have
We saw that yesterday and said, why does he have a it's something girls have in college. It's not something guys have. And it wasn't like you could recognize it was Gandhi or some of that hoodie thing that people put up on the walls when they go to college. It was just some random pictures. And is his bathroom a thoroughfare? So you go from the kitchen through the bathroom to his bedroom. That's a heck of a lot of germ spreading.
through the living room, the kitchen area, through the bathroom. Where are they now?
One officer is in the single bedroom, and one officer from the view of the body camera is still standing within the bathroom area.
And what is the purpose of law enforcement walking into apartments like this?
Apartments like this,
This specific apartment, what was the basis for going?
the basis, I did speak with some of those officers later on. One officer described, I can't recall which one, but one officer described that they were notified that family members of the victim were inside the residence, and that they had left the residence. They advised that because the door was unlocked, they entered the residence to make sure that no more family members were inside there. Was what my reporting purpose.
So at this point, they're looking for family members.
Your Honor, I
that are
object at this point. It's just, it's all hearsay.
inside.
Are you offering what you, sir?
Well, no, we'll move on.
Okay, thank you.
The officers that are inside are, who's in the background at this point?
I didn't see that part, didn't see who was walking
Can
in.
you back up?
I would assume it's Grace did if it's from the view of Creighton's body camera.
Can you see behind you now? We're at 528.
It appears to be Officer Grace.
And the bedroom is where they are, correct?
One is inside of the bathroom area and one is inside of the bedroom.
Let me clarify. Officer Brayston is in the bedroom, correct?
That is correct.
The bed is to the left. You can see that, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
On the bed, do you see a knife?
I From the angle that we see, I did not see money.
Person says spaces. There are all these colors are open. See that? Yeah. One here, there. Of course, last is on the end table. Still. Kit down here. That's definitely female. Registration. Yeah, I wish they hadn't done that. There's any pictures of him. There's her stuff.
Oh, he has a PS5. Rich guy. I think it's just a crappy, cheap floorboarding.
It don't look like they were in a hurry.
Didn't the family claim that they smelled cleaning products when they entered the apartment? These people said it smelled like rotting meat or rotting food. That's not how my cleaning products smell. What in the Walmart is this? Is this Tomb Raider? Vogue? What is this? Ladies, if you come home to a guy who has a wall like that, are you saying, pantalones turbo? Or do you say, well, shadows are getting long, I'd better be getting home to bed?
All lines up, low-ish is a driveway. That's not a lot of paraphernalia here. Just that seems so far. Yes. Yeah. There it was. Is she in it? And I don't know what she did. No.
And Mr. Crawford, who were the parties that were left in the hallway when the officers were?
No, because the officers came after the family broke in there, and the family said they smelled cleaning products.
Or could you see?
He was a student.
Very quick, I believe it was Katrina Bean and Travis Pace.
When did you do your interview with the Pace family?
My first interaction with the Pace family was at the Police Service Center on November 27, 2022, just after 7:30 p.m.
Was that AM or
PD.
And so going through, you get a phone call from, or a text, I believe you said, from investigator Seach, 5:30 in the afternoon.
That's correct.
And how long, did you reach out to the Pace family and ask them to come to CPD?
No, I did not.
Who did?
I was notified that the first notification that I received, official notification,
No,
would have been through my supervisor, Henry, at the time. He reached out and said that missing persons was needing potential assistance in an investigation. That's when he disclosed it, and I knew what he was referring to based on my interaction with Detective Siege. We said that we were responding there to speak with the missing persons investigators about potentially what type of, what kind of case they had at the time, what kind of evidence, what the family said, because it appeared up front that there may be suspicious circumstances around her disappearance. Once I arrived at the police service center, whenever I spoke with investigator Tomlin, was the first notification that I was notified that the Pace family was arriving at the Chattanooga Police Department. So that's when I talked to investigator Tomlin, and just after 7:30 p.m. is when I had first contact with Pace.
And so when you get to the police department, you connect with Tomlin, had the missing persons department or unit, have they made any progress with attempting to locate Jasmine?
I would say that there wasn't much progress in the investigation at that point.
Have they conducted any other interviews with the Pace family, or was this the first one?
To my knowledge, they had a interaction over the phone. I don't know the exact details of what was said.
And when you, are at CPD and you're meeting with the Pace family, have they indicated to you that they had been to Mr. Chen's apartment?
Yes, they did.
And they had told you that they had found the Chevy, correct?
Yes, they did.
At that point, had they been able to get her phone records from Verizon, Jasmine's phone records?
No, at that time, they made contact with Verizon to get her phone number switched over to a new device in an attempt to access her My Chevy app. But to my knowledge, they did not receive her full phone number to that time.
How long was the Pace family with you at CPD?
They approximately 7:30 p.m. is when they first arrived at the Chattanooga Police Department. Around 10 p.m., we requested to go to their residence at 5977 Old Dayton Pike in Chattanooga, Tennessee, to then, with their permission, document her primary residence and see if there's any evidence of her disappearance.
Were they being interviewed, or were you discussing things with them for that full 3 hours?
I wouldn't say full 3 hours, but the first hour and a half, there was continued questions and dialogue with the family. As I received the information, myself and Lieutenant Emery were asking the families different questions about what they discovered or different dynamics of the family. And I was relaying that information to Detective Siege, who was assisting with the investigation to help preserve things. At a certain point, I requested that the location of 110 Tremont Street to be have patrol officers placed on that to make sure that we could attempt to secure it in lieu of getting a search warrant for that apartment.
When did you do that?
It was at approximately 8:10 to 8:20 p.m.
So as of November 27th, 8 o'clock at night, the apartment had not been secured, even though law enforcement had been there the day before, correct?
The level of security I'm talking about is that tend to have eyes on the apartment itself. To my knowledge of how the doors work at that apartment complex, they do automatically lock once pulled to. They also have a deadbolt function as well. It's not to my understanding how we treated it and how we encountered it, having to use a courtesy officer to use the key to get in the apartment. The level of security I'm talking about is the actual physically putting a patrol officer or patrol officers around the apartment to see, because we're looking for Jasmine, we're looking for potentially Jason at the time as a potential interview, we're looking for both their vehicles. So we're trying to see if any of those people were to come in or out of that apartment. So that's the level of
My
security.
question was, my question, and those are your properties, did CPD take any steps to actually preserve Mr. Chen's apartment after law enforcement on November 26th, other than sitting outside watching the doors?
They shut the door.
But we know that the Pace family had gotten in and they were not residents there, correct?
Correct.
So there's no crime scene tape, there's no seals that are placed by CPD, correct?
No.
When did you get your search warrant?
The search warrant was signed off just before 11 p.m. I was notified by Detective Siege that
No, we have heard nothing about Tinder in evidence. It's all based on opening statements.
magistrate signed the search warrant granting access into the search and seizure of apartment 210 at 110 Tremont Street. After being notified, I subsequently called Officer Clemens to have him respond there because he has the master key to the apartment. He responded, and once he responded, then we executed that search.
How many times have individuals been into the property to your knowledge prior to the search warrant being executed on you? Let's look now. We know at least 2 officers are in the video, Officer Craigman and Officer Brixton, correct?
Correct.
You have been indicated by the Pace family that they have been in how many times?
I believe for sure twice by their statements. Some of the recollection, whether it was 2 or 3 times during that first interview as well.
And how many of the Pace family members have went into the apartment to your knowledge?
At that time, I was notified, I believe there have been 3 family members and a family friend.
So 4 individuals plus at least 2 CPD officers,
Yes, that's correct.
6 individuals.
Correct.
Typically, in a potential crime scene, is there a crime scene log and it indicates who all's been in the apartment, or who said the apartment in this situation? Was there one done for this?
Yes,
Did it note that the Pace family members have been in prior to law enforcement? Or does it just start once you've established the crime scene?
crime scene log is not in place until we've established a crime scene location. It wasn't until the on-site unit was brought into the investigation and went over the details of the case that we deemed apartment 210 to be a potential crime scene location at that time.
So you testified earlier, I'm going to pull up. And may I have the element here?
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
You know what we do?
Yes.
So, when did you first meet Maureen?
This is in the summer of 14.
And where did you meet her?
Let me show you what's been marked as Exhibit 42 of the state. This is as soon as you're walking into Mr. Chen's apartment, correct? To the right of his door.
Yes, that is correct.
The general had asked you, when you walked into his apartment, if you were able to smell marijuana.
That's
You
correct.
indicated
Thanks,
no.
Jemima.
That's correct.
At this point in time, now, let's ask this. How long had it been since Mr. Chen had been in the apartment? At the time you entered your search warrant?
I had no idea.
Now you know, correct?
That's correct.
Had it been at least 5 days?
No.
4 or 5 days?
No.
How long had it been?
Based on my knowledge, I believe that he essentially entered that apartment less than a few hours from his photograph.
What do you base your knowledge on?
Cell phone record,
Does the cell phone record actually show him in the apartment or in Chattanooga?
the general area of the apartment.
Does it show him in actually 108 or 110 Tremont, like you had for?
That's not how cell phones work. You get a rough estimate.
Jasmine Pace?
No, it just, throughout the investigation, phone records have been correlated multiple times based on the other video footage. So I based it on the high probability that throughout the investigation, when he arrived at a location where we had video footage, subsequently, we were able to track that phone and send to one location. In this specific case, I did not see him on video footage, but his phone tracks back to the area. That's what I was basing on.
Did you go back through the Arctic cameras to see if his car was located, like you did on the 22nd or the 23rd?
Yes,
Did you see him at the apartment on the 28th?
I did not see his view.
Did you see him enter the apartment from Tremont at all on any video?
I could not 100% identify anyone.
So you're speculating that he was there, possibly hours before you executed the search warrant, correct?
Just saying his cell phone was in the area a few hours prior.
But nothing that actually shows that, correct?
Besides the cell phone records.
Which doesn't indicate that he's actually within tree line, correct?
No, it just puts in the general area.
Okay. So I'll have you look behind here, and I'm going to zoom in over to the desk here. Could you tell me what's on the table?
There are multiple objects on the table.
What are they?
Starting from the right, there appears to be a bottle of hand sanitizer. There appears to be a bong style device that could be used to smoke hemp, THC, HHC, any type of weed product.
I
There's
didn't notice that.
lotion, 2 glass containers.
There's a bong here.
Gets further in, kind of gets jumbled in. There's a box of Band-Aids, a computer monitor, a speaker.
And the bong that you're talking about, is that the glass device that says boss on it?
Yes, it's this object right here.
Was there any other indication of marijuana within the apartment?
I did not observe, I didn't have any smell. I don't believe I observed the shake. I don't recall any other signs of marijuana inside the apartment.
I'm going to take you to State's Exhibit 83.3. You've indicated here that these items were located at the dumpster outside of Mr. Chen's apartment, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Were these items actually recovered by CPD, placed in the property?
Yes.
Were those items sent off for testing?
These specific items, no.
Do you have anything that indicates that any of these items belong to Jasmine Pace?
No, we had not received testing due to TDI.
Now, earlier you had mentioned the pants had potential blood stains, the sanitary napkin was similar possibly to one that's recovered in the inmate's office, but nothing in your investigation has shown you that any of this stuff belongs to the space, correct?
No, it's not direct.
Who actually retrieved the items from outside the dumpster for CPD?
It would be Investigator Johnson with the crimes unit was the one that documented and Investigator Brown was there. At that point, whenever I notified them of those objects and they responded to then do the collection further, I was there for
I'm thinking you're getting distracted because we can't hear anything.
the photographs, but I was not there for the collection. I was assuming it would be Investigator Johnson.
We're gonna go back into the apartment. What if the search warrant allowed for you to get off of this down? Thank you. When you were executing the search warrant, what did the search warrant allow for you to do?
It allowed us to enter the residence, it allowed us to collect items of evidence that were listed on the search warrant itself. So essentially allowed us to enter the apartment, it allowed us to essentially search and look for evidence, and evidence is located.
And earlier you testified that you saw blood.
Correct.
And where did you see that?
We're out to the apartment.
And specifically, you said to what was the term you used about the actual way that you saw it originally, without any lighting, without any chemicals? You saw spatter somewhere, correct?
Correct. I used for the initial walkthrough, I I did utilize a flashlight. It was low light in the apartment at the time. I utilized my personal own flashlight to see the blood, the represented blood at the time.
Did you ever bring in any,
I'm just happy that the chat can keep itself entertaining because this trial is just boring. I'm trying to figure out when my grandson is being christened because I forgot to write down the church name. How to ask his mom without her getting mad that you forgot.
auxiliary lighting, to have additional lighting than the?
Cross.
The crimes unit did bring in some of their own auxiliary lighting, but it wasn't lighting we typically need for a room.
And, when the Blue Star was administered, it showed traces of blood in the apartment, correct?
Correct.
Specifically, after using the Blue Star, were you able to notice anything about the directions of the blood marks?
They're multi-directional.
Specifically how?
How? There's several different things. In the directions of it, you have in the living room area, you can see a potential footprint that shows a direction. The flooring itself, it's because of how concentrated it is. It's hard to tell directional because it's essentially the photographs will never do justice in terms of what you visually see in terms of Blue Star because of how you have to capture it in such low light. As we saw, there was difficulty in the two different screens and showing its ability to show that the luminescent light in color. So it's hard to tell with the bigger quantities. I can tell you that there's also reactions on the walls, which show a downward trajectory running downwards.
Was there any indication that individuals have walked through the blood contaminated the other portions of the apartment?
There was evidence that someone was walking in blood, yes.
And you don't know who that was?
No, I can just have to tell you about what the incident was.
Did anything about the directionality of the testing that you have tell you anything specifically about the case?
Yes,
Once you completed the Blue Star, did you complete any of the, did you complete a Castle Meyer testing?
She's gonna say, you put it on your phone. She knows me well enough. She just sent me a new invitation.
Within the home?
I requested for Jasmine Pace testing to be done on specific areas throughout the apartment. Some areas were positive, some areas were negative.
What is Castle Meyer testing?
Hey, Donna.
Jasmine Pace testing is essentially it's testing done to suspected blood. I will butcher the chemical that's used. I believe it's phenolphthalein. It's a chemical substance that's applied with a hydroxide that essentially makes a chemical reaction with the substance that you applied to suspected blood. If it's positive, it gives you a pink substance that shows you a presumptive positive test for blood.
And did you conduct a control test before administering it to the apartment?
A control test, Jasmine Pace.
Yes.
I don't conduct any of those tests.
Were you present when this was done?
I was not present for the Castle Meyer testing. I requested to be done. I got notified about different places specifically, and if Castle Meyer test wasn't done on the larger sections of suspected blood.
Who did do the Castle Meyer test?
I'm not sure. I was requested to the crime scene and alluded to crime scene investigators that were there was crime scene investigator Johnson and crime scene investigator Brown.
No, technically he didn't. It was mentioned during the opening statements. He pled not guilty, and then his defense lawyer said he's guilty of manslaughter. So technically he hasn't pled guilty.
And were there reports submitted as
Yes,
part of your case file?
yes,
But you don't recall which of them did it?
I don't recall.
But somebody did do it, correct?
I know that Castle Meyer testing was conducted.
What date was it that you went to Nolensville?
The first date that I arrived in Nolensville would have been on the November 29th, 2022. I arrived in Nolensville at around 11:40 p.m.
And you, when the state had asked you earlier, you were asked to describe Mr. Chen's demeanor. You described him as defensive and calm.
Correct.
Is it your testimony that he was both?
Yes.
What was specifically, had you met Jason Chen before that day?
No, I've never met him.
Had you had any conversations with him prior to being in Nolensville?
No.
So do you know if this demeanor was out of character for him?
Council approved.
Boom, 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 boom.
The most important people in this case that everybody seems to have forgotten in this room is the jury. So we're going to take a 15-minute break and both sides take a pregnant pause and think about the jury.
You don't have a phone like that. Investigator Parker, just to clarify something, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit 85. This is the photograph that you have described as Jason Chen and his father in the doorway at the Nolensville home, correct?
Correct.
When you were testifying earlier, you said that he was walking away. Was he trying to leave you, or was he placing his jacket on because he was leaving?
We allowed him, there was England way at the time that we made contact with the Chen family. He requested to grab a jacket and shoes, which we walked with him, but we allowed him.
So he wasn't leaving.
No, he wasn't walking away from the conversation.
I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. I'm walking away.
I was, the entire time that he was at the Nolensville Police Department, I was still in Nolensville.
Who were the other investigators that were there with you?
Detective Siege, Detective Slaughter, and Sergeant Miller. Those were the ones that checked this one on site.
And when you, at some point, you were requesting phone records related to this case, correct?
That's correct.
And, you're right, you may turn that off. Jason's phone was recovered in Nolensville, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And we were able to do a forensic download on that phone, correct?
That's correct.
Did you also obtain phone records from T-Mobile?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's who Jason's provider was, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
They didn't get in touch with him till 4 days later or 8 days later.
Part of the phone records is historical data, and then the other part was the real-time ping location data.
Yes, Detective Slaughter. We have a general mole as well.
We started
Moley.
receiving, his phone
We had a lot of
records,
weird names
the late
yesterday.
hours of the 28th, but they were only real-time ping locations, not historical data to include call records and text messages.
And to clarify, you mean November 20th, the day after, or the day of your search warrant?
Correct. November 28th is the first part we start receiving real-time ping locations, and it's not until December.
Now they cut
1st,
audio again.
around 8 o'clock in the morning that we receive the rest of the historical data for Jason Chen's other.
Now, did you receive text messages for Jason's phone?
We received the call record detail with text message logs
And the text message logs would include any individual that he had been texting with, correct?
that were texting via certain services. I can't say any because with iMessages, you have the ability to communicate via Wi-Fi. It's not through your network. So whatever was based on his cellular provider's records, so using their towers through their service, would allow those text messages to be transmitted because there's ways that you can essentially text via iMessage over Wi-Fi that you don't need your cell phone.
Did you receive messages that showed that Jason and Jasmine have had a number of conversations
Those are different things that they have conversations.
in the records that you got from T-Mobile, correct?
Yes, T-Mobile did indicate they had conversations.
Do you recall approximately how long those conversations have been going on?
From his phone
Periods
records.
of time, yes.
His phone records were only for about a week time frame, so I believe it goes back just a few days prior to her disappearance.
One more.
That was interesting. Do you know how long they have been communicating? But we didn't really get anything from that. Bum, 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 bum. I am sitting here and regretting that we took this case up and hope that this guy will be latest. Only guy who is
Investigators here this evening requested
boring.
Detective Oakley in the homicide unit actually submitted the search warrant for Jason Chen.
And he's still with the homicide unit within CBD.
Yes, he is.
Well, I'm gonna go through back to the you went back through in January of 2023, correct, for your second walkthrough.
That's correct.
What was the purpose of that? Just because the lighting was different?
I have beliefs at the time of different circumstances around the investigation that we hadn't had potential further testing done on certain things. I was still attempting to get into other technologically related discovery and video footage. I had a belief based on the photographs we were originally taken that there was a potential chance that furniture had been moved prior to my arrival at the apartment and the execution of the search warrant. I wanted to go back to see if this thing's confirmed, and also wanted to see it potentially, knowing that a lot of times when a crime like this has been committed at a location, for them to have the potential ability to rent that apartment out again, they'll do a complete renovation, which I know that sometimes, ripping up hardwood floors or breaking up drywall, it could potentially deliver further evidence when somebody is showing a pattern of attempting to cover up evidence. I thought there may be chances that further evidence may have been covered up.
And when you went back in January, were there individuals from CSU or crime scene there with you?
Yes.
How many individuals were there with you when you went back?
Two.
Now, I know earlier you mentioned that Blue Star was done, the Castlemeyer testing was done originally in November, correct? Are you aware if there was any additional testing that was done in January?
Such as Blue Star or Castlemeyer?
Yes, or like the crystal violet, the liquid crystal violet, any of the additional testing done then?
No, most of the flooring was already started to be taken up. Things had already been started to remove. So we took the larger items which showed evidence of potential blood.
Now, in November, are the only testings that you're aware of being conducted by someone on your team, being either the Blue Star or the Castlemeyer? Was there any additional testing done, such as the crystal violet, or that would have potentially caused spillover for the substance to get larger,
To get larger,
to spread, to run?
there was no further anything applied to that apartment, to my knowledge, in terms of the testing methods. After we cleared that apartment.
Ralphie has a good day.
And so no further testing was done on January. It was just pulling out.
It's possible that Castlemeyer may have been performed at that time based on the fabric located on the bed, but it's a small droplet bottle. I'm not aware of the results.
Were you present the entire time that CSU was in the department in January? Or did you leave?
There was times that I was speaking with management there on scene while crime scene was doing documentation. So I can't say that I watched the crime scene anytime.
Now, a few moments ago when we were talking about the Blue Star testing, you had mentioned footprints. At least one. Where was that footprint?
In the living room area on the floor.
Was that the only footprint that you observed in the Blue Star testing?
In the Blue Star testing, I believe that one section, after it was Blue Star's testing was conducted after swabs were taken of the suspected blood. We typically will take the swabs of those things first. For the proper
Yeah,
collection.
we talked about it yesterday.
Done for potential chance of dilution or anything else. So we documented, we photographed, we collected, and then Blue Star was administered. Search warrant began at 23:45 or 11:45 p.m. on November 27th. And it's not until approximately 7 a.m. the next morning when Blue Star.
From your review, did you see more than one print throughout the apartment, or just one?
I believe I at least.
Were they the same or different?
They were different footprints based on that it wasn't the same one. Only thing I can tell is one had about 3/4 of what appears to be the bottom of an unchewed.
That person who is opening his candy, that's annoying. Hey, Mr. Ice. That's on Twitch.
Footprint. You can tell based on prior to the Blue Star being administered that it did not appear to be a footprint that was bare skin. Based on the interaction on the ground, it appears based on the smudging that it appeared that the individual that created that footprint on the ground would have been wearing socks of some sort. And then there was another heel print, which was harder to tell based on smudging. So I would say that there's potentially two different locations where footprints, presumable blood, was later confirmed, were there. I couldn't tell the individual.
Investigator Crawford, I've known you for a long time. So, correct?
Correct.
In this investigation, when you were doing an interview with the Pace family, there was a statement that you made about doing whatever you could to solve this.
Your Honor,
case.
objections, hearsay.
But she's asking the witness not his own statement. Is that correct?
It is.
What you're saying?
Out of court statement that the truth of the matter, sir.
I mean, I don't think she's not offering a recording. I think it's impeachment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The first step would be her asking you to make a statement. Then you can renew your objection later. The other voices are part of the statement. At this point,
You made a statement about doing what you have to, specifically even tarnishing your entire investigation. If it meant saving someone's life. Do you recall making that statement?
Not in that wording, but I did speak to him.
Would it help you if I showed you a transcript of that recording?
I mean, the transcript could potentially help. I believe I remember.
Oh my gosh, you guys! There's a class called Basic Grifting. Should we all learn how to be grifters together?
I think I'm all out of stingers now.
I like turtles.
While I'm
waiting for this. Did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there.
Everybody has.
The judge is like, the hell did you just?
It says valuable, based on state alcohol. I say within the law.
So I believe the portion on page. Did you make a statement that you would have, if you had to tarnish your entire investigation, to save someone's life, you would do that?
Save someone's life.
I could kill you more, Brandon. Join my Patreon, $25,000 a month, and I will bore you to death twice a day.
And in this same interview, you've learned that the Pace family has been into Mr. Chen's apartment, correct?
Correct.
Did you advise them to not go back?
We advised them after our interaction with the Pace family that we were taking over the investigation. We asked for their family to step back from the investigation and let the homicide unit go forth with the investigation. We tried to instill whatever confidence we could provide the family. As a homicide detective, I have a tough job sitting across from parents and having to work through those things. So I was trying to do whatever I could to potentially instill confidence in them, to give them some peace of mind, even though my gut feeling said otherwise.
Were there errors made in this case?
There's-
Were there a lot made in this case?
I don't believe so.
Do you believe that the crime scene was pristine when you got there on November 28th and executed your search warrant?
No, the only way a crime scene can be foreseen is if we have full control of that scene from the beginning.
Even
Do you
he's
believe
bored.
that there were items that were taken from Mr. Chen's apartment prior to your involvement?
Yes,
And those items have been recovered from where?
the items, well, multiple items.
What all was recovered from Miss Bean's house?
There were small travel makeup bag. There were the victim's identification card. There were credit cards, miscellaneous cards. There were cellular devices, an iPad, and some miscellaneous clothes. There was also folders of paperwork, binders. There was a trash bag. There was a black duffel bag, and an Xbox.
And all of that was recovered from the residence of Bean, correct?
That's correct.
In the video that I showed you at the beginning of Officer Creighton's body cam, when the officers walked into the apartment, Jasmine Pace's identifications are there on the table, correct?
That's correct.
But they weren't when you went in to execute your search warrant, correct?
That's correct.
They were already removed from the property and at Jasmine's mother's house, correct?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that items have been taken from the crime scene prior to you executing your search warrant?
Yes.
And I'm going to have one moment just to go through the things.
Oh. Yeah, that's a horrible case. Trial TV Live is covering that. I didn't want another baby case. I started my year last year with the Adam Montgomery case, so I didn't feel for another baby case. I took this instead because imagine having a case with a woman being stabulated 60 times. It must be interesting. You're wrong, Abadiba, so wrong, Abaduda, wrong, you're so wrong, Abadiba, so wrong, you're wrong, Abadida. That was the song played at my marriage.
Case record was cited in the last exchange. Morrison ended her cross-examination.
Thank you. Just a couple more questions, investigator.
Oh,
You refreshed your recollection with your transcript. And Ms. Morrison asked you questions regarding life. Let's see. Preservation of life is first and foremost. What does that mean?
Saving someone's life. Our job's not, I would say that most officers that I interact on a daily basis are first responders and medical professionals. We're there to save people, not just investigate. Put that above.
Would you trespass into a building if you believed that someone was in danger in that building?
I risk my life to save someone else's.
answer the question, please.
You recross.
I mean, I don't know.
You got to be kidding us.
The most important people in this case that everybody seems to have forgotten in this room is the jury. So we're going to take a 15-minute break and both sides take a pregnant pause and think about the jury.
Did you make, in discussing tarnishing the investigation, were there statements made about the criminal investigation potentially getting thrown out if you had to jump through hoops in order to do that investigation?
For the continuance of the entire thing, I did say that preservation of life is first and foremost. If the criminal investigation got thrown out, essentially, because I was going to save someone's life, that was first. But I guess it's not the transcript, which would be the audio, that I stop myself and say within the law.
Would you like me to play that audio?
Now we're waiting for a piece of audio saying that preservation is the most important, blah, 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 blah. Absolutely not. It's 8 weeks of hell. People forget that Adam Lally is an idiot who talks for 7.5 weeks. So I'll sit through it, even though I think Brennan will be just as horrible, but I would never rewatch that trial. If I hadn't gone to Tennessee when I did, I'm not sure I could have finished it. Don't have my bed sheet route, but I think I can scrape together some plastic bags and tape. Don't we have jury questions? Yeah, but hopefully they can. We can hear it with the jury questions. No, I don't think it's Carly Gregg's judge. This is a picnic. No, this is horrible. Carly Gregg was in Mississippi. I know the judge from somewhere too, and I can't figure out where it is. I think he potentially was the judge in. I think there was a case I was supposed to cover that wasn't shown with 7 people being unalived.
3:19, I believe I can break. We'll take that now. Have you back probably about 15 minutes from that clock says.
So now there's an afternoon break. Oh, the clip was, yeah, that was from the Carly Gregg, because they were also wasting everyone's time. Oh, now we're going to play the music. Yeah, let's get get 15 minutes of nothing. But I think they're going to play that audio clip where he says preservation is the most important part of something. But please come back and please be audible, because I need to take a wee. And this is torture. And I need to get to bed because I have court in the morning. Yeah, that was a horrible case as well.
Bring it back over to the one have to. Yes, Judge. Have to proceed on the record. Yes, Judge.
Did they find something golden? Da 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 da. Cause I'm walking in Memphis, walking in 10 feet up the pew. I'm walking in Memphis. La 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 la. Ow. Oh. So, anyone seen some good movies lately? Had something good to eat? I was talking to my daughter because of the place we're going to eat at the christening is it's what you would call good old Danish food. And she said, "Oh, you should take your American friends when they come and have our national dish, which is roasted pork with parsley sauce and potatoes." I think Irish would love that. I can't go take a bio break. There's nothing on screen. There's no entertainment. I am the entertainment when there's nothing on the screen. Because as a king grifter, you have to be here for your audience so they don't run away. What is my favorite food? Old Danish food. I like frikadeller, which is Danish meatballs, not like Swedish meatballs. Good, not the weird things they make over there. I like a good pork roast. I like fried pork, our national dish. I love anything pasta based. That's why I'm so fat. I don't have Netflix. I just finished the Bass Reeves series. You watched Husted today a few times. Yeah, it felt like it. No. No, because Jamie will just sit here and say, "Why isn't he here? Why isn't he here? Why isn't he here? Why isn't he here?" No. No, 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 no. That's not how it is. Because as a grifter, you must entertain your audience. You can't just leave you all alone. Imagine the horror, the shock and horror. It would be. Oh, I couldn't do it. I will excuse you, Jamie. You can go to the toilet. I've heard a lot. I've heard both sides. Of course, I've heard from all the everything new is bad people on YouTube that it's a horrible movie. Other people say if you don't see it as a historic movie, it's quite good. It's one of those things where you're thinking, should you or shouldn't you? Because the first one was a really good, great movie, but the second one can almost only disappoint. That's why I watched Lord of the Rings 2, because I thought it can't be as boring as number one. Spoiler alert: all of them are just about walking. They could just call it Travelers Club, and it's kind of like going on a walking vacation to Sweden. You start out in beautiful Denmark, and then you get into Mordor. And then you meet orcs and hobbits. No, Smeagol is he's a river hobbit. It's the same thing. Looks kind of the same in Sweden as it does in Mordor. And they speak the same language. And you just want to jump in a volcano. Sadly, we don't have any. Never apply to a woman all the time. I always apply to Jamie. She'll beat me. What about merch? I haven't found that. Merch descriptions is somewhere underneath the video. I just told my daughter I'm getting them a Danish hot dog because those weird things they call hot dogs in America. Ugh. Oh, let's have some sauerkraut and some pickles, and then maybe we'll give it some chimichanga. No. Og sausage, sennep, ketchup, remoulade, blø hård løg, en lille picolade. You're running. Oh, please don't. Happy Gilmore was it wasn't even a. I don't. It was okay. I don't think it's his funniest movie. I have coffee cups. I have stickers. I have T-shirts. I have tumblers. Says Grift on them. Amistad. I remember watching it back in the day. Didn't really like it, I think. Yes. Well, it's because you all paid 45 million to be on my Patreon, so I have to be here to entertain you. Oh no, this is not my Patreon. Movie night was great Saturday. It was a good movie. Jura 2, then a funny one. What was it, Jamie? Jamie, what did you see? Yeah, there was a lot of it's a big cruise movie. They were just buying the cheap tickets, so they had a lot of people on board. Landman looks quite good. Dexter, the new series, heard a lot of bad about it. Hollywood Nights, don't know what that is. We are getting our hot dogs. People always say, "Oh, you should get them at the airport as soon as you get back to Denmark." Never buy them at the airport. It's too close to Sweden. It's not good. You go into the main central station, walk out, and the exit pointing towards Tivoli. Right there is, as we call them in Denmark, a sausage wagon. You go there and you say, "Inrested in Kokyo," and then you will have the best culinary experience in your life. That's how you do it. Yeah, you're weird. You are not weird. You are not. Well, you might be weird. You're not late. Today has been hell. I've seen Bass Reeves really good. Another good one is Landman. It is better than Yellowstone. Yellowstone, I watched the first three seasons of, and then I just kind of lost interest. I'm kind of I watched enough of Tulsa King and Mayor of Kingstown to I need a little break from them. That's why I started Bass Reeves, but I think I might jump on Landman. Only way to get it. Don't Google BBT. Only liquor and tobacco at airports. That's getting too expensive. I was, for people who don't know, I talk about it all the time. I go to Switzerland like once a year to visit my sister and help her with her kid. And the last couple of years, I never bought anything down there to take home to the kids. Normally, you would buy chocolate because Switzerland, it's the home of the chocolate. But buying at the airport, it's cheaper when I get off in the airport to buy the same exact chocolate in the Danish airport than buying it in the Swiss airport. That doesn't make sense. You put Kraut and Colonel Mustard on mine. Wrong. I don't know if the Jamie is always on love after lockup.
Yes, sir. Judge, you'd like to let them know you're.
Yes.
I watched all the dating on the spectrum, both the Californian, that's not a good one, and the Australian. The Australian is great. The only good thing in the California one is where they're sitting in Africa, or what's her name, and looking at her husband, boyfriend, and start singing, "Can you feel the love tonight?" And half the words are wrong. I love that show. It's wonderful. I put you have to have a fried sausage. Then you put that in the bun, ketchup, mustard, remoulade, which is a Danish thing. Then you have onions, fresh onions, and roasted onions, and then some sliced pickled cucumber on top of it. Tres bienes. I'm sorry. The Creator was a decent movie. Can't remember that one. No, you put it in the hot dog in a hot dog bun. I think I saw it on Netflix. Didn't Jamie? You found it, didn't you? I think Jamie found it when I was talking about it because I was in love with Abby. Abby is her name, and I hated the other one, the one who talked with her hands. I hated her. If she and I met, we would get into a fight. Yeah. No, because it's not two separate pieces of bread. It's just one bun. So I would say no. A hamburger is a sandwich.
Investigator Cochran, the jury is out, so that you can listen to this based on what you stated. So we're gonna play the section that I've been talking about in the transcript for you to listen to. If you can't hear it or if we need to rewind, just let me know.
Preservation of life is first and foremost. You know, if we have to tarnish our entire investigation to save someone's life, that's what's gonna happen.
So you had mentioned that there was an indecipherable or something of that context right there. Were you talking about somewhere different?
Per the transcript itself, it has inaudible.
That's further down on the page.
Yeah,
So
No, it's not cut in half. It's opened.
To the entirety of the statement, from the beginning of when I mentioned it to the end, when I concluded with preservation of life first and foremost. On that paper, there's an inaudible statement for the wording on the paper.
would you like us to keep playing till we get to the end of that?
Yes.
Okay.
I could check and see if that's better on the other one. Oh, sounds like better over here. No, not much.
Okay, here, of course, we're gonna follow the law.
Jamie is boulangerie on a budget.
Sufficiently on your cross to explain how there's a need to play it at this point. So I bring the jury back in position when they're ready. Yes, sir.
No, between two slices of bread. Frankfurters are the things you put in a hot dog. Yeah, don't put it in a box, man. Let it be its own thing, man. Oh, now I can get out because now they're. I love we're getting into an existential discussion about hot dogs.
Please be seated.
Investigator Crawford, before we took the break, General Law, had talked to you about preservation of life first and foremost. And once more, did you make the statement, if you have,
Let me do the question first. Maybe.
if you have to tarnish the entire investigation to save someone's life, that's what's going to happen?
Objection asked and answered.
No further questions.
You read the rest.
No, Your Honor.
Does the jury have any questions for Investigator Crawford? Felix, you want to bring those up? Yours keep writing if you want to. Felix, bring them up. So, Council Brooks.
Is he done now? Are we at jury questions? Yeah, but there's also a podcast called No Such Thing as a Fish. So that's actually a good podcast sometimes. It's made by the same people who made QI, the British TV show. Nathan hot dogs are the best. We get from Langland pølser, Long Island sausages. You know them by the sound it makes when you break them. They are the best. And dear friends, I think because I have court tomorrow, I need to get some sleep. And if he's going to 6 again today, I can't do it. So after the jury questions, when this witness is done, I'm going to send you over to Recovery Addict. He's also covering this trial. And you can see the rest of the horrible audio over there because Daddy needs to be ready for court tomorrow. It's a full day in court for me, so I need some shut eye. Just belittle me again, Marissa. Thank you. Well, I can't. Well, thank you all for hanging out here today because nothing really. Yeah, I could have cleaned my house twice over. I don't have a big head. I have a massive head. Yeah, let's just get the questioning done, and then I'll end it there with the new witness because I can just. No, I won't jinx it, but I could just see it being someone who has to spend 45 minutes talking about their education. She looked just as bored as we are. I'm not a big fan of, well, some of them. Currywurst, not my thing. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Hey. I'm not gone yet. The histories of my demise is greatly over exaggerated. Come on now. Come on, move it, move it, move it. Rawhide. Do you have the little shrimps by you, krabben? Krabber is just crayfish. The small shrimps we just call shrimps. Kosher dogs are tasty. Never had one. Can't say it is or it isn't. But nothing better than fresh shrimp on white bread, mayo, lots of shrimps, some lemon on top, a lot of beer to drink. That's a good night. The street hot dogs in LA is awesome. I wouldn't eat anything off the streets in in LA. Sanitary reasons. Bum, 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 bum. Of course they do. You should. That's the only thing you should ever go to Sweden for is a shrimp evening. Come on.
Investigator, the jury has some questions. I'm going to ask them if you can just face them with Was the apartment locked when you executed the search warrant of Jason Chen's apartment?
Yes, the apartment, we used a master key to enter the apartment, so it was locked through the use of key to enter.
The juror's question is, how was the body located? That will be explained further by another witness. Was the knife on the bed tested or taken for evidence?
Yes, the knife was taken, it was inspected. To my knowledge, the Castleman-Meyer test was conducted on it, it was a blood test, and it did not have a presumptive blood. Also, that knife was also provided to the medical examiner's office for their examination to see if it was consistent with what we were looking at.
Any fingerprint testing done on it?
On the knife, they inspected they inspected the knife for potential ridge detail with fingerprints. To my knowledge, I don't believe fingerprints were located.
Were any broken glass or shards found in Jason's apartment?
There were, under the futon area of the apartment, there were small little micro glass that was there.
They were thinking the exact same thing we have been talking about all day. Was there any evidence of a broken wine bottle? The jury is paying attention.
Very small fragments.
Were any wine bottles found either full or empty in Jason's apartment?
I believe in the photographs that documented a few wine bottles were sitting in the off to the kitchen area. There was a cabinetry area.
This is a long question, so I want me to reread it, ask for a number of things. We have the photos pulled up, by the way, the dumpster.
Yes, Your Honor, I have the dumpster photo pulled up. If you'll just DVD.
Yeah.
Okay.
State's Exhibit 83-2 and 83-3. This would be 83-3.
All right. Let's take a look at that photo. On the photo of the white shoes beside the dumpster, what is the green item that resembles a purse and the white item that resembles a disposable camera?
The green item at the top is like a plastic style lid. It is not a purse. The other, which I'm not exactly, could you read the
Yes,
part
it
about
looks-
the camera?
It says white item that resembles a disposable camera.
I don't see an item that reposes in the picture. There is an air freshener plug-in, and you can see the base of the actual dumpster there. There's a silver portion there along with the wheel. Only thing I observed white, there's like a tear off tag, maybe a piece of paper, the white shoes, sanitary pad, women's underwear, and the other dumpster.
So I think you answered this question. Don't ask it anyway, but I think you answered this question. What is the item that resembles a phone protruding from the blue item in the upper left corner? That's actually, I think you said a wheel.
It's the top of a metal bracket to a wheel, as they place like a metal bracket with a wheel basing on the bottom. You can actually see the two open eyelets here that typically, I would assume you would have all four eyelets secured in the bottom of it. So it seems like this one might need some repair.
What size were the white shoes?
Without seeing the evidence log, they were men's size 11 or 11 and a half.
Do you have the photograph of Jasmine in the Defense Department pulled up?
Yes, Your Honor, so just give me a second to pull it up.
You said you had it ready. Come on now.
There it is. Okay, so maybe.
I'll come back to that one. Just take your time. Let me know when you're ready, Jimmy. Oh, there we go.
And it's right there, Judge. I just wanted to get the exhibit number.
Okay.
It is exhibit number 122.
Thank you. Investigator, how did you identify that that was Jasmine Pace in the photo taken in Jason's apartment?
One thing, during the investigation, I don't do criminology investigations, just looking into potentially a suspect that committed a crime. It's also victimology, try to learn everything you can about the victim to find potential habits. Some of the things that we do is you can see tattoos that are identified in the picture that may be testified later on in the court proceedings, but there are tattoos. Specifically, I've seen numerous angles of the victim to include side profile, her head, and the long hair. But the easy ones are.
Take care of
some of the
yourself,
tattoos
and I'll
that
see you later.
Regarding the Arctic video, when you identified Jasmine Pace's vehicle entering Tremont location, did you identify who the person was driving?
Entering the, could you read it one more time?
Yes. When you identified Jasmine Pace's vehicle entering Tremont location, did you identify who the person was driving?
We didn't have video footage of actual, to see exact confirmation of who was driving the vehicle at the time. We did have evidence that showed that she left her parents' house at a specific time. And from that evidence, we know that based on the My Chevy app, the way that that data is reported is that as soon as that vehicle turns on, it reports a location and time, and that trip continues until it comes to its final destination. In the My Chevy app, it shows one stop, and it being the final stop at 110 Tremont Street. So from the time that vehicle starts at 5977 Old Dayton Pike in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and has that approximate 20-minute time frame where it drives to 110 Tremont Street. It doesn't stop. So based on that knowledge, we felt that Jasmine Pace was in possession of the vehicle based on her leaving the house, the car starting, going to the apartment. Once it was at the apartment, the car shuts off, and her cell phone coincides with that as well. Correct.
Were you able to identify that the items Jason Chen bought at Walmart and Walgreens were used for cleaning up blood from Tremont apartment, based on the evidence you collected at the Tremont apartment or lab tests?
We can tell that the products that were collected, those cleaning products that were collected within the apartment have been used based on the contents that were in them, whether it was the Band-Aids, the paper towels. We observed in the Walgreens video footage, it's a brand new box of paper towels, and by the time we get to it, several are missing. To include the bottles of hydrogen peroxide that aren't completely full bottles of hydrogen peroxide. To say that we know for sure those were definitively used in that scene, we can say that they match those purchases at the Walgreens and the Walmart, and they were brought back there and they show an impure level of product. Well, I can't definitively say that was used.
Did you identify Jason Chen's DNA or fingerprints in Jasmine Pace's vehicle?
In her vehicle, no.
Was anyone else identified as a suspect?
No, the only suspect identified and evidence was located, confirmed back to be in this case, was that of Jason Chen.
It's kind of a two-part. Was Jason Chen arrested at his parents' house?
So it made it sound confusing when I explained it earlier. That's on November 29, 2022, I applied for a search warrant for Jason Chen's parents' residence at 1943 Ashburn Court in Nolensville, Tennessee. Directly following that, I met with the district attorney's office and spoke with them about the evidence that I had in the case, about proceeding forward. We talked about the probable cause that we had in the case for potential arrest. I requested that I execute the search warrant first on the residence and the search warrant on his person if he was located at that time, attempting to potentially get an interview to find the full facts of the case or attempting to find facts of the case, at which point we were unable to speak with Jason Chen at that point. Mr. Jason Chen was detained at Nolensville Police Department, where he's detained at his home, brought back to Nolensville Police Department, where a search warrant was executed on his person. After that search warrant was executed, we collected that evidence. We subsequently made the decision to put an NCIC hold on him, which is an investigative hold, because we didn't have no warrant, but we believed at the time, enough evidence in terms of probable cause to present to a judge or magistrate to see if they would sign off on an arrest warrant for his arrest. Subsequently, he was placed in NCIC hold. I don't have jurisdiction within Williamson County, per se, to swear out warrants. So immediately after his transport to the Williamson County Jail, I drove immediately back to Chattanooga, where then I drafted an arrest warrant, took it to the magistrate within Hamilton County, and they signed off on probable cause for the arrest of Jason Chen. That arrest warrant was then faxed to the Williamson County Jail. After it was faxed, our own Chattanooga fugitive unit responded to the Williamson County Jail, where then he was taken from that jail and transported to the Silverdale Detention Center.
So regarding the detention at his parents' house, did the police explain to Jason why he was being detained?
Yes. We advised him that, one, we had a search warrant for the residence at his parents' house. We also advised him that we had a search warrant for his person. Based on that search warrant that was signed, we were granted permission from the court to collect certain items from him. Due to inclement weather, it was storming pretty bad that night in terms of rain and thunder. There were process and procedures we could not conduct at that location with collection of potential DNA, fingerprints, and photographs. We made the decision to transport him in a patrol vehicle back to Nolensville Police Department, where those processes were taken.
Did the state have any redirect based on the jury's questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Investigator Crawford, you were asked both by Ms. Morrison and now the jury about this photo. Do you recall what size shoes those are?
I don't recall exactly. It's either 11 or 11 and a half size men's.
Is that 11,
It was
11 and a half?
notated in our evidence law.
The reason why the audio is great now is because finally the ones supplying the feed have turned up the audio.
Recognize that.
Yes. It's a picture of the shoe that we're describing.
It's a zoomed in version of that photo.
Of the top right shoe, yes.
Okay, Your Honor, I asked if this be made citizens.
See,
We don't know.
130 maybe was the last.
31 seconds.
131. Okay, and then. Do you recognize what's in that photo?
Yes.
What is that photo of?
Maybe
This is a zoomed in photograph from the overhead kiosk camera from the Walmart video footage that we observed earlier. Between the two cameras and the kiosk, we go that looks directly down.
Your Honor, I've asked this be made 132.
32.
Can we go to prosecution laptop?
Cinderella, find your Bella. Midnight is coming and you on the clock.
Okay, so that's 132, the zoomed in version of Mr. Chen's shoes at the Walmart.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and 131, the zoomed in shoe of the shoe next to the garbage dumpster.
That's correct.
Okay, and so a side by side of those two, would you agree that those are both those photos, exhibit 131, 132 next to each other?
Yes, that's correct.
Nothing further, Judge.
Recall is based on the jury's question.
Investigator Crawford, based on what the state has put up behind you here, was there any testing done to confirm that those are in fact the same shoes? Was there,
He said he didn't notice anything looking like a camera. He talked about the bottom of the trash can instead.
for instance, DNA conducted on the shoes that were found outside of the dumpster that would have had Mr. Chen's DNA?
There was no testing for DNA that was submitted.
Was there any evidence of blood or anything on the shoes that were located outside of the dumpster?
I do not recall blood evidence being inside of the shoes. They're sturdy.
So as of today, there's nothing definitively you have that shows that the shoes outside of the dumpster and the shoes on the picture on Mr. Chen's feet are the same, correct?
I would just say that they have consistent color markings on the shoes that you can observe in the video footage, but I don't have definitive DNA evidence.
Thank you.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Investigator Crawford.
Yes, it actually looked like a disposable camera.
Your Honor, the state would call. You have another question, or would like to ask you one question?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, another question.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Do, 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 do. La, la, la. No normal people wear shoes in their houses. You put your shoes at your front door. That's how you do it. Free Willy. I like the questions. It looks like they are thinking about the same things we are thinking about, and I think those are the questions that's going to prove if it's premeditated or not. That because you need her to attack him with a bottle to make it stick. That it is only manslaughter.
Some more questions? I take off my shoes in my room, so I'm doing it wrong. Then always leave your shoe at your front door. You don't want to drag in all that dirt from outside, especially if you live where it's cold and wet. Can't imagine I have to teach people that. It looks like the judge from the Halderson trial. Halderson was Wisconsin? Yeah, because now they want to say it wasn't even his shoes, so you can't prove he did it. But they also want to say, well, we did, because if they go back on the opening statement now, he's done. If they go and try and fight and say, well, it wasn't him, that would make absolutely no sense. Brought your family slippers for Christmas. I need some good slippers, especially when I'm standing up streaming. My feet hurts. Probably, but still, we don't end the trial till the fat lady sings. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. No, I'm not wearing Ox. I have a very low T level, but I'm not that low that I would be seen in those horrible shoes. The next thing is you'll be saying is, have you thought about Birkenstocks? Men in Birkenstocks, unless you're Jesus, stop. Yeah, but again, let's wait till we hear how the body was found and when the ME comes. I think that's important. They have very manly ones. Yeah, the problem isn't if they try to sell it as manly. Ox are ugly boots, and Birkenstocks should be burned on a fire. Wooden clocks. Haven't worn wooden clocks since my first year of apprenticeship in a bakery because you want to have a bad back, stand around in clocks all day. Yeah, I really hate when I go to the gym and I see men and women working out in Birkenstocks. Are you crazy? Yeah, I'm trying to find some of those. I wear slides with socks on in the house. No. You have a pair of Danish wooden clocks. Well, you fancy. I can't walk in them. They kill my back. They're way too hard to walk on.
But it's the same. I can't wear Vans shoes because there's no cushioning, and with my bad back, it'll just kill it. That's why I used to wear Adidas Superstars a lot, but the sole in them is just not that good. It's jury questions. It's not a sidebar. I think it's because they're getting more and more questions, but they have to discuss if they can talk about the questions as well. We don't know if it's a long or a controversial one. We haven't heard it yet. But it could be one of those questions they can't answer. I'm wearing moccasins made on an Indian reservation. Next best thing to being barefoot, which is what I prefer. I don't like that. What are wooden clocks good for? Honestly, it's supposedly I think it's good for your. It should be good for your feet because you don't have all that cushioning. That's the problem. Our feet gets more and more used to being in shoes, so we can't walk around barefoot. No, because we have already seen the suitcase, and it looks like it's a folded over package. If you're thinking about, no, I think maybe one of these down here is the suitcase, but these things, this can't be a suitcase. Parents just don't understand.
I really appreciate the jurors' attentiveness on this, and these questions show that. After this is over, I'll let you know the reason why I like letting jurors ask questions, but I'm very glad that you're attentive and asking relevant questions. All right, detective. Let's see. The receipt from Walmart shows asparagus. The video shows no asparagus was purchased. You can see the defendant type in a produce number. Was this investigated further? And if so, relevant to the case?
We did investigate it further. Upon discovering the phone records of the victims and Jason Chen's phone records go to Walmart, is what led me to that Walmart to potentially see what interactions and stuff happened there. Once we go there, we watch the video footage of Jason Chen come in. We then track him to where a purchase is made, at which point it was relevant in terms of what items that he did buy. We did observe on video that 2 different items were entered in as produce, asparagus, which obviously were not asparagus. It did not have relevancy in terms of the arrest and investigation other than theft was committed. It was reported to Walmart. Loss prevention was there. They decided, based on finding out at the time the video was collected, that he was in custody on a murder. They decided at that time they didn't want to go further with the theft charge.
So both of these deal with the video of the vehicles outside of Tremont. There is a person walking into Tremont location after a Chevy vehicle was found in the parking lot. Did you identify who the person was on the Arctic video?
Try to answer this question properly. I believe you're referring to the first time that the Chevy vehicle comes into the parking lot area. The only camera that we had close enough to identify a face where anyone could identify without having prior knowledge of an individual, was located at one of the exits. It was a personally owned camera by a resident there. They had a ring-style camera affixed to a door. So it would capture one of the exits. The apartment itself didn't have its own camera system. So we had to rely upon other cameras in the area, such as we attempted to get cameras from Regions. They were not very popular. We did not get that video. In terms of they did not preserve it and the video was lost. We recovered camera footage from the other side of the apartments, but it only picks up motion and it didn't actually capture the entrance. The entrance itself, we couldn't identify. There's a few, obviously it's a multi-story apartment complex. There's multiple people coming in and out at different times. The specific time you're talking about when the Chevy vehicle first pulls in and someone walks in, I think it's just after. I did not identify that person.
Couldn't you just say no?
Were you able to identify the driver of the Prius that we saw in the video first?
No, I was attempting to identify who it was. At first, I believed it potentially to be an associate or family member. After further review of the video footage, it appears to be some sort of ride share. I was unable to completely verify. There is indication inside of Jason Chen's forensic download of his cell phone that there is metadata associated with that device that the rideshare Lyft was activated around the exact same time that the vehicle pulls in 500 Mountain Creek Road. And it's zip share, which is how their online communicates because they incorporated Lyft zip share into their company.
When taken into custody, did Jason Chen have any observable cuts or injuries on his body? In parentheses below it says, in reference to the Band-Aids have been seen purchased and found at his apartment.
I did observe a injury to his right palm. The injury was consistent with my investigation and personal observations. Is what I call knife slippage. Knife slippage is essentially a lot of times when an assault occurs, specifically with a knife, the incident gets bloody super quick and super fast. Each and every time the potential knife goes into the object and comes back out, it's deep enough. Potential blood transfer happens at knife, and it is pulling the blood out of the body at that time. A lot of times what happens with anything that gets wet, it's slippery. It was consistent in the palm area on his right hand. There was a small section in his palm that appeared to be a 1.5 inch section that it was an injury that had been healing. To me, it was consistent with a what we call knife slippage. A lot of times when someone's holding a knife and they protrude it into something, or if it were to be pulled away, essentially a lot of times the knife is pulled out or they slip across and you get a small cut there. The only other indication of potential injuries to Mr. Chen that we observed in the documentation when we took photographs is he had little tiny minor cuts on the tops of his feet, which we did document because typically on the tops of your feet is not a normal place to injure something. Typically, if you injure on your feet, you step on something or run into it. There were small injuries, but no physical bruises. To my knowledge, no major trauma or anything like that other than the palms and the top of the feet.
Top of the foot could be hit by a wine bottle.
It's a long question, but it might be very simple answer. Based on your experience as a homicide investigator and the blue star and floor stains, could you determine the exact location in a specific room that appeared to be where a murder occurred?
Yes. In this specific case, there has been pictures of Blue Star that have been shown. There have been pictures of the apartment. There's been pictures of recovered evidence of blood in concrete areas. Based on my investigation and the blood that we recovered, based on blood spatter, which
these questions are better than the ones that was asked by
the first night that we executed that search warrant on November 27th into the 28th. I observed what appeared to be cast off of blood spatter. That to me is consistent with blunt force trauma or shock force trauma. Shock force is indicative of a knife or something sharp as an ice pick that's used to create the trauma. Blunt force is more consistent with the blunt style object, a bat, a hammer, and such. It was consistent on the wall as you would go into the door frame area of the bathroom. Up to the left-hand side, there were pieces of what we call cast off or blood spatter. It's different than transfer in terms of what we saw on the light switches, where you can see smudging, or on the floor where you can see smudging or the transfer. This is essentially, it's being either forced in terms of force tapping into an object and then it's pushed away, or as an object gets pulled away and slung into that direction. Based on my indication of where that blood was located inside that room, I believe the main portion of when these stab wounds occurred inside of that apartment would have been the victim lying in the tiled area of the bathroom, which is also indicative based on us collecting those tiles and seeing heavy soaking of blood that went from the top layer tiles where we saw a little bit of blood. The blood also seeped under those tiles in several different directions.
Can you redirect based on your answer?
So in that little
based on-
middle part
Say you have-
is where he probably did it at the bathroom.
Councilman Brooks,
Does it line up? Well, I'll try and do kind of a as I understood the layout of the apartment, you had the main room here, and then a little kitchenette here. Then the bathroom was kind of across here, and then you had the bedroom. And what I understood, it's in this area that
in Detective Crawford's answer, he gave some factual information about what he saw regarding the cut on Mr. Chen's hand.
that could be her coming out of the
Factual
kitchen.
observations that he made where the blood was found and what condition it was in. However, he did give some opinions in that this witness has not been qualified as an expert in those types of matters. It requires expert testimony to give an opinion. So at this point, you may utilize the factual answers that the witness gave regarding the
Based
cut
on his
on Mr. Chen's
experience.
hand and where the blood was that he saw in the bathroom, as far as his opinion about where it happened and how it happened and how the cut got on Mr. Chen's hand. You're to disregard that testimony.
Probably if you moved her around to
You need redirect or recross.
get more room to work on her.
Investigator Crawford, you had mentioned Blue Star reagent.
Could also be that she
being
was
on
trying,
the walls.
because he said she came out of the
Was that
kitchen
the
and
bathroom
attacked
that you're
him.
claiming that you saw this?
The Blue Star,
Yes.
what I identified to them was physical blood samples that were photographed and documented prior to the Blue Star.
So in the exhibits that we've seen previously, is it fair to say that it has been shown in the bathroom floor, the bathroom sink, but we've not seen any photographs of anything on the wall at this point, correct?
Yes.
And you've mentioned that reagent showing up in the bathroom area. Are you indicating that you don't believe anything happened in the bedroom?
The question was asked where I believe the incident occurred. My belief is that based on the blood, obviously a body was put into that room based on the heavy blood loss that was there. But I believe that the assault began or occurred inside of the bathroom.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
No other questions for the jury? Let's get it, Robert. You can sit down.
Thank you.
So I'll take this time to take a break because it's 10:30 my time and I have to be in court at 9 in the morning. I need some shut eye. I'm gonna make a quick exit and send you over to recovery so you can follow along with him. I hope I'm back till court starts in the morning. Thank you all for hanging out today. Even this is probably the worst court audio we have ever sat through. Enjoy, y'all. Have fun, y'all. Enjoy the evening and let's throw some muffins in his chat.
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
Well,